Welcome to Pantheon News! Sorry if I blew out the mic right then. I am very excited to cover these 3 stories with you guys. Y'all have no idea. There's a lot of kind of interesting, I don't know if I want to call it specific aspects, but there's very specific points, which I guess would be aspects, that I want to talk about, and the reason why I found these things to be really, really interesting. And I'm going to try and highlight those specifically, but of course we'll be talking about other branching avenues of the overall topic. And of course, if you have questions or anything you want to say, just go ahead and jump in, ask the question, and I will do my best to answer it or give my opinion. So, little disclaimer as always, just remember that these are our opinions. Although a lot of stuff is based off of research or based off of a particular article, we're just kind of reporting on it and then saying our opinion as well. So that's just something I think is good for everybody to keep in mind just in general. Okay. So, our first story of the day is about Webtoons and New York Comiccon. And so some of you guys might be like, I'm not sure why this is even a big news thing, but to that, I will just say, give me a minute to explain to you why I think this is a pretty decent, important-ish topic. Magnetic Salt! Hello! We missed you last live stream. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I don't follow you on any socials. So if you do have an Instagram or a Twitter or something, just send me a wave or send me a hello. I don't know if your name is the same, but I would love to be friends. All right, so I just kind of wanted to highlight a few things while just to kind of give us an overall feel of New York Comic-Con and what's going on. So the reason why I think bringing up New York Comic-Con and Webtoons is so important is because in the US, if you're not from here, it's a really big event. It used to be very just for more of the nerd culture, but it's really expanded, and I think nerd culture is becoming more mainstream in general. And so being at these big cons either New York Comic Con or I can't remember what the one in LA is called, but maybe that one's just Comic Con. But these are big things that industry people go to. So let's highlight everything that Webtoons is doing. First of all, they have tons and tons of panels, which is crazy. So the reason why that's kind of crazy is because you would expect tons and tons of panels from maybe if I'm just saying to give us sort of a comparison, you would expect a lot of panels from a particular company, let's say Marvel or DC. They're launching something really big, and so they need multiple panels. Well, because New York Comic Con is such a hot tamale, then you may not get as many panels as you would want because your company's too small. So the fact that they had multiple panels, and these panels almost 8 panels from what I could count based off of the article, is a lot of people. Jess, hello! Delphi, hello. So good that you guys could make it. Hope you all are doing well today. Industry people, so think of actual business people, people who might be behind the scenes of a company. You might be able to meet editors, you might be able to meet professional writers, you might be able to meet professional artists there. So for me, I'm in a smaller state. And so when my state has a con and stuff, we do have guests and whatnot, and we have, special people there, but you're really not going to meet company heads or anything. You're really not going to meet somebody who's actually working there. So let's say that, I'm trying to think of a good like comparison because like my mind is only thinking of big companies, so I'm trying to think of something small. But let's say like there's an owner of a company and they come to my state. So I'm in the South and I'm like in a smaller southern state. And so if they were like, oh, DC will be at your local comic anime convention, well, we could expect like maybe like actors or, you know, a specific person to be there, but we wouldn't expect any like executives to be there. So like when you think of like Comiccon in LA, like you might be able to see Kevin Feige. You might get lucky and get in an elevator with him and be able to talk to him. So like that's where I'm saying like there are like actual executives at the bigger cons there because a lot of times they're running some of these panels because they're trying to boost their marketability and boost like their awareness of whatever they're working on. So that's why this is kind of a big deal. So with that being said, of course they bring Rachel. So Rachel is a huge draw like internationally. So Rachel is one of the like, I don't think there's been another webtoon creator like Rachel yet where she has such mass appeal. So she has mass appeal like in the US, she has mass appeal in Europe. I'm assuming she has a decent appeal in Asia, but I can't speak to that. Like I have to, like I've never heard or read or seen anything that kind of like says like Rachel's a big deal over there too. But she's kind of taking all of like the markets by storm. And so one of the things that I think is great about Rachel coming to this, first of all, is they likely flew her in, but she's like the golden child for campus US or Europe, I would think. Because like not only is she an amazing creator, she's a super nice person from all the interviews I've seen her in. And she's she's been recognized by the webcomic writing community-esque era. Like they're like the people who are over the current era of comics that are like the Ringo Awards, like those people. So like she's been recognized by them, and so like dropping Rachel Smythe there really can bolster it. And so like that could actually draw people to come to Comic-Con because they want to do business with Webtoons because Rachel's there. Like this is like this is a networking event for some people. They also had this cool thing where they had an exclusive pin, so it's like, ooh, exclusive pin, come to Comic-Cons, which, I mean, if you're going anyway, like getting free stuff is always cool. Delphi said, Lore Olympus is the closest to mainstream webtoon there is in Brazil. Oh man, so she's in South America as well. So that's super, super crazy. So like, is she like on all the continents? Like, I need to know now. I'm like, is Rachel like blowing up everywhere? Lore Olympus is definitely the webtoon that gathered the most attention in award ceremonies and literature community. Yeah, it is written really well, and it does have a very classic looking aesthetic. Like it gives me very much old Disney, like before like the princess era. So it's got a lot going for it. I don't want to harp on that too long. I want to hit the other things. So there's going to be portfolio reviews. So Webtoons and Wattpad, they have a booth there, and they're like, hey, on Friday you can come, you can meet Webtoon like people who work for Webtoon, and they will review your series. So this is another instance of like, if you wanted to get a portfolio review, getting there to the con, this could be a potential way for you to build a connection with somebody. Even if like, I would say, even if you didn't have like a series that, you want to show them right now. Just going up and saying, hello, I'd like to introduce myself, and I just want to let you know I love Webtoons, and I'm hoping to make my own Webtoon. Could I have your business card? And it could be something as simple as that one interaction, and somebody could be like, oh yeah, I really like you, you're so cute, or I really like your cosplay, or whatever, and that can create a memorable moment. Because the thing about it is like, as humans, we're social creatures, and so sometimes like a simple interaction with somebody could be your foot in the door somewhere. Like that one interaction could go from, oh yeah, like, we've got our eye on you now because, like, you followed me on socials, I'm following you on socials, and so when you finally produce your webtoon, or as you're producing your webtoons, like, I can pitch your webtoon to, like, the higher ups. Like, this is just, like, best case scenario, but I'm just saying, like, Webtoons is also offering that as well because they know that people want that. And so then they had a costume contest with Lampcat. I don't know, I didn't research it fully, if this was like just for Webtoons, like it was Webtoons contest only, like you had to do Webtoon characters, which I don't know how that would work because a lot of Webtoon characters aren't like rocking crazy outfits that are like very distinguishable. But I do love Lampcat and I think she's hilarious and I would love to have met her. Let's see, Jess said, not to mention New York Times bestseller for the print version. Yes, yes. Rachel is definitely Miss Worldwide. Like 10 out of 10. It's crazy how amazing she is. It's just, it blows my mind. So why I think this is so awesome. I think because Webtoons is able to get so much at a big event like New York Comic-Con, it's really showing that they're really pushing forward into the mainstream sort of era. And like right now, there's so many people that want to grow their business, grow their platform or whatever, but Webtoons is actually doing it, and I feel like this is a big way to show that they are. So let's just take a moment to look at some of the panels that they're offering, and this kind of, I feel like this would really put you in the mindset of what Webtoons is trying to do. So they have Scrolling Passion, New Voices in Romance Comics. So this, on this panel alone, it has Lore Olympus creator, it has the Down to Earth creator, and then it has the writer on Archie Comics, Big Ethel Energy creator. So all three of these big creators are there talking about how to like make a romance comic. I don't think you can get any better than that. So then they have World Building and Beyond, Sci-Fi and Fantasy. And so this is with a bunch of different things. So it's the president of Wattpad, Webtoons Studios, is the executive editor of Viz Originals, and then we have the global content distribution of Crunchyroll. So another, I don't know what the title necessarily means, but these are big people. That's what I'm saying. These are industry people talking about what they want, what they expect from creators who want to work with them. So then we have the Titans of Graphic Novels. So this is Rachel, 100%. So it says join best-selling and critically acclaimed graphic novelist, including Lore Olympus creator Rachel Smythe, as they discuss the creative process and reflect on the journeys of their career to this point. How valuable would it be to hear how like somebody like Rachel, which obviously it mentions that there's more than one person, but how she went from being a canvas creator to Miss Worldwide. Like literally, that should, somebody needs to like get on Rachel's team and like, as a joke, I feel like it would be funny, be like, Miss Worldwide. Like, she really is at this point. Like, I love it for her. So then there's a spotlight on Rachel Smythe. So that's where it's just her specifically. Then there's Assassin's Creed enters into the world of Webtoons. Then we have from Riverdale to Big Ethel Energy, reinventing Archie for Gen Z. So what I find interesting about this last one is they're talking about the fact that how they really steered Big Ethel Energy in a different direction to fit with what Webtoons metrics reads out to make that comic successful. Oh, and then there was one more. It says, the president of Wattpad Webtoon Studios will also take part in a webcomic publishing industry panel. So this is where I'm saying like these are executives. It's not just like an editor. It's not just a writer. Like these are people who are in the business who are talking about what they want specifically. And I know how people are like, oh, Webtoons doesn't ever give us information. They don't tell us specific things. This is where you could get that information. And depending on how it's set up, because I haven't been, maybe next year I can go and I can give y'all the tea. Like, I'm going to start planning that. I think that'd be so much fun. I would love a New York trip to do that. But my thing of it is like, just like I said, going up to somebody, and if you plan right, you might be able to give them your business card. Like, who knows? Maybe they'll throw it away. Maybe they'll give it to an intern, but you're trying to create and build something for yourself. Like, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Like, you might think, so that analogy may not, resonate with some of you guys, but if you've ever heard like a squeaky wheel, like that sort of thing, like eventually you've got to give it some grease so it'll stop because it's annoying you. And sometimes that's how it kind of is being a creative. Like, you're just constantly, hey, read my comic. Hey, read my comic. And it might be a little like make you feel a certain way about it. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what you have to do in order to be a successful creator sometimes. Like, you have to keep trying to network, have to keep trying to reach out to people. You have to keep trying to grow your own business. So that kind of hits on my second point of it's a great networking event. So there's other people that are there that either love Webtoons or, so let's look at it from this perspective. Like, Webtoons already has a big presence there. But what if you get there as an artist and you're selling your works? I think there's been like Walter Osley talked about, so he's a creator on Webtoons who does amazing advice, but he talked about how like he was selling his comic, and that's kind of how he made his connection with Webtoons. Oh yes, hello Josie, so glad for you to be here. But that's how he got his connection with Webtoons. Like, he said that someone was coming by his booth, he got a chance to speak to them, and then it just kind of blossomed from there. So like, imagine you don't know who's walking past your booth, who's coming up to talk to you, and the next thing you know, they're like, oh, I'm the CEO of Wattpad, or I'm the CEO of Webtoons, or I work with Dark Horse or something like that. And so you're like, wait, what? You do? And they're like, yeah, I love your comic. Can I take a business card? Or can I get your email? Or, we would love to work with you. Like, these are opportunities. So like, this is where I'm like, if you know of an event that Webtoon is going to be at, and not just like Webtoon creators, although Webtoon creators could be fun. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like trying to build your business or trying to work with Webtoons, this would be a good opportunity to try and jump on that. What? Okay, so crazy idea. What if we did like next year a New York Comic-Con, Pantheon talks, like we all go and like we just meet and just like destroy all of the panels. We're just like, yes, we're here to learn. Please take our business cards, work with us. Like, I'm sure there was other comic places there. Like, New York Comic Con is huge. So, like I was saying, Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, maybe Tapas is there. I don't know. We'll get into Tapas in our next discussion. But my last point, I think you can learn so much while you're there. So much. In person? Yes, in person. These are in-person events. So, but I'm just like, throwing out random craziness. Like, I'm just hyped in the moment. But I feel like that would be so much fun because I feel like it can be a little intimidating. Like, you're going there by yourself and you're just like, I'm really intimidated. It's just me. But like, you can have people there to support you and like be like, yeah, go talk to them. Like, show them your stuff. Like, show them your portfolio. Like, I would be so down for that. That would be so much fun. Like, I'd love to see it. Like, I would love to see somebody like, we have like a success story to tell. Like, that would be super cool. Yes, as a New Zealander, that would be a big ask for you to come to New York. It's a big ask to go from my state to New York, so I totally feel that. I'm just like throwing out craziness. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I feel like the benefits, especially if you're in the States, could really, really boost like opportunities and create something for yourself. Like, even if it doesn't manifest then, it could manifest in the future. Okay, so but as we go on to the next article, do y'all have any questions or anything you want to say about New York Comic Con and Webtoons? And remember too, it's Webtoons Wattpad, so it's both of them, which we'll elaborate on in our next kind of topic. We will get into deeper discussion about Wattpad, Webtoon Studios, blah blah, that joyful venture. Oh, hello, Grace. That would be so fun to do a meetup at a con. I know, right? Like, I think it would be super fun. We could do like a cosplay group. Like, what would our Webtoon cosplay group be? Like, what would the Webtoon series be that we should cosplay as? Obviously, if Rachel's there, we'd have to go as like a Lore Olympus group, because that, I feel like that would be the easiest way to meet Rachel. Like, I'm sorry, but my brain is like, what can I manipulate to meet this person? And I'm just saying, like, it would be benefits all around. Like, Rachel gets to see like all of her characters, and then we get to meet Rachel. Like, I think that would be so cool. Well, anyway, if there's no questions, or if you do have a question that comes up later, just holler it out and we'll come back to it briefly. Yes, the manipulation. All right, so Tapas has updated, and here's my thing about Tapas. It's a love-hate relationship, because I feel like Tapas is the app that we want Webtoons to be. Like, I really feel like Tapas has like so much stuff that we're always like, Webtoons, we would like this, please. And Tapas is like, here you go. And like, everyone on Tapas community is like, yay. And then everyone on Webtoons is just like, my audience isn't over there though. It's so interesting to me, because I feel like Tapas puts a lot of love into like the reader's experience, into like helping creators to have like a better, way to grow their audience, a better way to kind of like improve with their platform and everything. And so it's just kind of unfortunate that sometimes I feel like people forget about this. And like, the thing of it is like, when you say Webtoons, you think of like the company, but when you say Tapas, you think of like, what are we going to eat? Like, what are we having? What type of tapas? So I'm just like, Tapas, y'all have got to get out there and market better. So let's just get into it. Let's just get into it. So what they decided to do is they had a massive update to the experience reading on the phone. So they did like, the home tab was updated, comic tab, novels tab. They have like a better way to search by genre, which literally everybody on Webtoons is like, yes, please give us a better search by genre. I hate the fact that if I'm typing in something on Webtoons and if I don't include an S, it cannot find the series. It is deranged and unhinged. Like, I don't understand how I could type in the Toothbrush Chronicles, and then if I forget to put the S on Chronicles at the end or whatever, it'll pull up something like Mary loves hair, and I'm like, how is this related at all? Like, I do not understand. Webtoons does need to update its app. Yes, it does. Tapas is a food. Yes, it's a food. Okay, hold on. You don't know Tapas is a food? All right. I was going to look it up, but I'm like, that'll derail the stream. So let me try and stay on topic. But yes. So I think it's great that they've improved the reading experience and whatnot. Like, they're really trying to help people like get more into finding series. Like, especially the way it looks. Like, aesthetically, it's easy to read. It's easy to see like, ooh, this series looks cool. Ooh, this series looks interesting. Like, it gives me a lot of like what I feel I would want Webtoons to do, because sometimes searching Webtoons is a little overwhelming, and I don't always like the way they like advertise stuff on their site. I'm just like, ain't working. As well, I'm not sure what you're referring to there, but if you want to restate it or ask me again, I'm sorry. Yes, Magnetic Salt, like, we're on the same page here. They can update their Webtoon, but not their app. Right! Oh, it drives me crazy. So Tapas is also doing this thing. So they've updated the app and everything to give a better reading experience. But they're also doing a romance writer contest. And so the key things we can look into here are there's a $10,000 reward and it goes to 15 people. Well, we'll look at the post in a second. And then there's no deadline yet. So if you want to enter this, if you're interested in getting a part of this romance writer contest, which Jess, this could totally be something you could enter because like everybody snaps for Jess in the chat because she's like almost finished with her series. Like she's been working on this series for a while. It has like 3 seasons and it's basically done. And it's a romance series, Jess. Like all you have to do is change it into Word format and you can give it to Tapas and Tapas can give you $10,000. Like I'm all for it, Jess. Like I would advertise the heck out of that. Like I love it. Let's see. They can. Gotcha. I got what you're saying there, Adagong. Yes, it's lots of small food. I will send you a picture of this so you can know what I'm talking about. So let's look at the post real quick. I'm going to end the slideshow and I am going to pull it up. So ignore this. I was going to show you guys the Tapas thing, but I was kind of like, it's really just showing you like what the page just looks like. So I'm putting it in here because it was up, but let's look at, why am I not? Yeah, there we go. Let's look at the romance contest. So it says, ready, set, right. We are looking for the next sizzling, heart-wrenching, jaw-dropping romance. Will you become our next published author? 15 lucky winners will be awarded a $10,000 publishing contract and have their stories published on Tapas. Contestants must submit 30 chapters of at least 15 words each, 1,500 words each. And then they said find a complete set of rules in the caption. So, oh, there it is. I didn't look at the last page. So it starts October 17th, which is so weird because I looked at the details here and I thought it didn't have a submission deadline. But there are the rules. It says you must be in the United States. So I'm sorry if you're overseas. It says you must be 18. Stories must be submitted in English. All stories must abide by Tapas Entertainment content policy and cover policy. They say we do not accept works created by AI, basically, and submissions must be written by the contestant, and the contestant must own all rights to the submission. So, with that being the case, we can get like the full details here as to like what's going on more or less and really see like what's happening with it. So 1 second, guys. My tablet has died. So let me transition over to my other tablet. So unfortunately I am not at home right now. So I am currently doing everything at a house that I'm dog sitting at. But I've got the chat back up. Oh, everybody's saying congratulations to Jess. That's awesome. You guys are so great. Like, you have no idea. I love it. So, yeah, so there's the contestant rules and everything. Let me pull the slideshow back up. And let's get on to our next slide. So how this benefits you. I think, and I don't, I can't be for certain on this, but I feel like this is a good sign of Tapas trying to be more competitive. Like they've updated their app. The biggest thing is I feel like Tapas needs to market more. Like they need to put out there, who they are. Honestly, I would probably change their name, to be honest. I would change it to like TM Publishing or TMP Comics or something like that. Just because like over here in the US, it's a food. And so it throws us off so much. Like if I mention it to anybody, I feel like they literally think I'm talking about food. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I promise. So hopefully with them updating their app, they're trying to stay relevant. They're trying to stay competitive, which they do have really big series. Like Solo Leveling is getting an anime, which is from Tapas. They have that one that's about like either the kid gets isekai'd or something happens where like the person is they're like a master, overpowered character, and like a bunch of people love it. Like they're super into that. So they have big series on there. It's just I feel like they're kind of losing some of their like pizzazz, and like Webtoons is just like taking off. I'm like, guys, y'all got to get more competitive. Like get in there and do more. Like figure out. Like, if Webtoons is going hardcore on, bringing series to life in live action, then maybe y'all should focus on trying to bring series to animation. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I'm just like, I really feel like all of the bones is there for them to grow and become bigger. Yes, the beginning after the end, that's the series. Oh, thank you so much. Like my brain could not think of what it was called. But that guy's a really good writer and he does stuff all the time. He markets himself well. I'm like, if y'all need some help, ask him to help y'all. Let's see. Solo Leveling even has physical books in my school library. Oh man, in your library? That's insane. So Jess said the last time I looked at the Tapas app, I had a hard time figuring it out from a reader perspective, but it's been a while. Oh, Jess, we would love to hear if you use the Tapas app after this update, if it's a better reading experience for you. I think that's part of the issue, is like when readers don't have a good experience on your app, they're not coming back. So like even if you have like some of the best series on there, if it's not, like patience is no more. So like if people cannot easily digest your stuff, then they're out. They're like, I'm sorry, I'm out. And so what I hope this is Tapas is like, we're trying to get back competitive and we're trying to become, if we can't be number one, we're going to be number two. Because remember, in our previous news streams, we've talked about how like, I think Apple was one where they were saying like, oh, we want to have our own comic company. Like we're getting into Webtoons. And then their Amazon is another where they're like, oh, we're trying to do this. And you have to remember, other companies are doing it too. Marvel, DC, all of them are dipping their toes into Webtoons, trying to get it going. So I'm just like, listen, y'all have, even if your fan base is kind of small, y'all have a fan base that could help y'all rise. I'm like, oh, get some influencers out there. Like, work with some social media people. Find some smaller, like, Webtoon creators to help, like, really sell this stuff. Like, I don't know if that's, like, if they're trying to be more of an elite sort of brand, but I'm like, okay, well, market yourself as that. Market yourself as the elite brand. Like, you're here for the people who really want to that are like connoisseurs of comics and really want to consume refined, high, elevated writing, that sort of thing. Market yourself that way. Like, whatever you're trying to do, I just need y'all to like get in there, like throw in some punches in the ring and let people know that y'all are not down and out, okay? All right, so we're transitioning into our last news article, which this one, oh man, do I have some thoughts about this one? I don't even know if I can fully, like, I just feel, I feel like the Webtoon CEO is savage. Like, that's all I have to say. Like, at the end of the day, I was like, can I say this any other way? Like, I mean, I can, but I feel like y'all are just gonna understand it by me saying that. It's like, he's grown this business and he knows what he's doing. Like, unless somebody magically comes in and just like takes the entire market by storm, I kind of agree with what he said. So give me 1 second. I need to pull up the news article. I had it up on my phone, but I had to take it down for a second so that I could see the chat and everything, and we could still have the background music. But we may not have background music during this article. It just depends. So give me like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So Copy. And I think I can still make the music work while I'm doing this. So, and thanks guys for your patience. Really appreciate it. I am, as you can see, struggling a little bit on tonight's stream, but it's not a big deal. I've got it up and going so we can look at the article. Was he being shady? So he's not being shady. He's being kind of cocky. And so that is why we have this image up. Because he was giving me, you walked in here and you thought like you were coming to a knife fight. I brought a bazooka. I brought a nuclear bomb. Like, he was just like, okay, y'all can be here in this arena, but let me just be honest with you. You can't play the way I play. Like, you can't roll the way I roll. Like, he was giving me big alpha energy. Like, that is what I was feeling. And so, okay, so basically, he was like, Apple, Amazon, I'm not worried about them. They can't compete. He's like, we've been building this business since 2004. And he was like, we've got it to the point that it is now through hard work. And these other people think they can swoop in and make money the way we do? No. So in 2012, they made $4.7 billion. Like, you have to think of how crazy that is, because technically they don't really sell anything. Like, they are a publishing house. They allow people to post on their site and people come and read and they get money that way. Like, you have to think of how much money they got, I'm guessing through like FastPass, advertisements, that sort of thing, how much money they got through this deal. And so based off of Webtoon, the CEO, now this is what he's saying, based off of their projections, that by 2030, so that's not that far away, y'all. Like that's not that far. By 2030, they will be at $60.1 billion. Oh my good grief, that is a lot of money for a company that doesn't sell anything. Like just think about that. They don't sell anything. Which, I mean, I guess you could say now they've got Webtoon scrolls, so they do have physical copies that they sell, which is definitely going into that projection. But it's just crazy. So he basically says that these other companies, he's like, if they're trying to copy our model, they're going to struggle. Like, basically, we have all the people here. And he's like, I mean, they'll get a few successful sort of things going, but it's not going to be the way we are. He's like, we're growing, we're building. And so basically he says, if people want to come in and build like their own, huge platforms, he's like, well, they're going to have to buy me out. Otherwise, they're going to have to get in the sandbox with me. And guess what? I take up the whole sandbox. So let me read to you exactly what he said, so that, because I'm embellishing here. I shouldn't say embellishing, but I've said it now. But I'm like hyping it up more than it is. But he is giving that energy, which you can read the article. It's linked in the description below. But he basically says, to build a Webtoon store, you need knowledge about serial services, user targeting, a fitting business model, educating users, Kim said. This takes time, but even if you put in the time, you can't recreate the creator economy we've built. So let's see where his other quote is. He says, now, and I quote, this is in reference, so the person who was talking about this, I guess they asked him about Silicon Valley, and he said, if big tech is serious about this IP creating business, they have to buy us out. So what I take away from that is, first of all, this is the CEO, and he's saying that, yes, we're looking for Webtoon creators, we're looking for new series and whatnot, but we're really building IPO, so intellectual property. They're building brands that will be associated with Webtoons. So like, think about like how certain characters are associated with certain companies, like Mickey Mouse associated with Disney, like that sort of thing. So essentially, Webtoons is like, hey, we have all of these intellectual properties over here. We have all of these stories over here. We have all of these creatives. Well, guess what? We can now direct them to particular avenues of business that we feel would make us money. So whether it's like a live action, whether it's an anime, whether it's, a novel, whatever it might be, whatever entertainment, like they could make a play out of it for all who knows. But basically, they're like, we can direct them to do all of that. And then you think about like the ideas of like merch and all of that stuff. Like Webtoons, I feel like it's still in stages where they're testing certain things. They're trying to figure out what works. They're trying to figure out what brands. I feel like eventually it'll get to a point where Webtoons will probably buy out some creators' IP. Because they're like, okay, this is associated with us. How much can we get from you for it? We'll leave you as the creator, but we want to use, the story going forward. We'll give you all the credit that you made it. We'll give you all the credit that you're the writer and everything, but we want the character. We want to be able to have this character associated with Webtoons indefinitely until the business ends. Which, if somebody offers you that, first of all, you need a lawyer immediately. But I would be like, I want revenue for the rest of my life on this. So whatever you market, whatever you do, whatever you sell, you gotta pay me. But what I'm saying is I feel that that's really interesting is that he's talking about growing IP. So probably for a number of series, he doesn't want them to be one and done situation. He wants more out of it. He wants to build them into like the way you think of like Marvel and DC, like how Superman and Batman and Captain America, all of them are like eternal characters. Like they will be comics about them until those businesses disappear. And so that's the vibe that I'm getting from him is he wants something like that. All right, 1 second. I've got to drink the water. Also, let me know what you guys are drinking. I forgot to ask. So I just have a water today. No wine, no coffee, unfortunately, so it is what it is. But it's giving me, like, this CEO, he wasn't playing around. And one last thing that was kind of funny in the article is this person who wrote it, they basically were like, so we went and asked Amazon, because Amazon Japan is planning to launch a webcomic service called Amazon Fliptoons, and then Apple Books has started a Webtoon platform in Japan, and they plan to expand beyond that. So, after he says all of what he says, they go to get quotes from them, and Amazon and Apple are basically like, no comment. We don't have anything to say. We're not responding to this. We're moving on with building our platform. So if you scroll towards the bottom of the article, if you're looking at it, it says Amazon did not respond to a request for comment and Apple declined comment, which this is just me being messy, but they were like, I could only imagine seeing their faces when they got that email and was like, so this is what the CEO said. He said that like your business can't compete and good luck. And they were probably like, excuse me? Not responding. Like, I'm sure the CEOs of those other companies were just like, oh, we'll see about this. So I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when they got those emails. I really do. So how this benefits you guys? Well, I think this really shows that the CEO, the higher ups, are paying attention to certain aspects of Webtoons, and they do have plans on growing the business. Like if they're planning to, Lord, I don't know what it is. Is that like a 50%, 60% increase of revenue to 60 billion from 4 billion? If they're planning to get to that amount of money, that means they're planning, because you remember their business model is really based off of finding creators, finding new series to grow. Even if they're going further into like studios, live action and stuff, they've got to still spend money on the comics that they have. If they're not producing new content, there's nothing for people to come onto Webtoons for. So it makes me think that they are definitely looking for creators, and I feel like there will be a surge of new creators entering onto the platform. There's already a big surge of them, but I feel like there'll be even more. even more. And I feel like probably in other countries too. Like I feel like Webtoons really wants to like have this unlocked globally. Like they don't want anybody coming in and taking up any of their wind. They want all the oxygen in the room. They want the other companies to have so little oxygen that they're just like, I can't even enter. So I think that that's decent-ish because it does offer opportunities for creators. What I would say, which this is connected to my last point, is if that is the case, if they think that they are going to be making 60 billion, negotiate a better contract before you sign if they offer you to become an original. Like, make sure to negotiate everything. And if you want your series to be live action, if you want it to be an anime, if you want merch, if you want all of that stuff, negotiate that. Negotiate that in your contract. Let them know exactly what direction you want to go, and let them know that before you sign, this has to be ironed out. Like, if you want to be on Webtoon Scroll, you want to let them know, well, this is the percentage that I want. This is the percentage that I'm okay with. Like, this is the standard percentage that people are getting and whatnot. Like, figure all of that stuff out. Do not be hasty in getting a contract when a company is saying that they're going from $4 billion to $60 billion. Like, just think about it. Like, just take a moment. Like, don't get too crazy out there, okay? Like, I mean, I'm not saying for you to go in there and ask for the world, but I'm just saying, like, you know, take everything into account that this isn't just like, oh, they offered me a contract and they want my webtoon. No. Figure out contracts are important. Get you a lawyer, and if you want something to be a certain way, tell your lawyer, and then make sure that you can write a counter proposal to whatever Webtoons offers you so that you can get a better contract. Which, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just telling you what I would do. Like, if I wanted my series to be an anime, or if I wanted it to be a novel, or whatever I wanted it to be, I would make sure that Webtoons knows what's up, so that there's no confusion if I start doing stuff and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't, but I own the IP. Yeah, you own the IP, but you've got to talk to us first. Like, we get first picks to buy anything that you're, oh, okay, are you going to buy it? Yeah, we'll buy it, but not right now. Like, I don't want to end up in a situation like that. And so that's why I'm saying to y'all, like, really think about things before you sign anything. Like, even if you want to work with them, if you're like 100%, yes, I must work with them, this is the company for me, still get yourself a good deal. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one paying your bills. Which maybe some of y'all aren't paying bills yet, but I'm just letting you know what's up. All right, and so hopefully with an article like this, where the CEO is just like, oh, you like Webtoons? Well, if you're not us, then you're against us. Then hopefully this will give like Amazon and Apple the fire that they need to rise from the ashes and be like, oh, Amazon is a global company. We're going to give everybody Webtoons. We're going to be sending this. We're going to add this onto like Webtoon to Amazon subscriptions. Where I'm like, oh, have you checked out Amazon Fliptoon? Fliptoon for you. Like, Amazon could kill this. So I definitely see a way for it. And Apple could do something similar, like giving, like if you get a new Apple product, or if they launch it, they could be like, hey, 3 months free of Apple Webtoons. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that they could do to like really get the ball moving on some of this. So I'm hoping that these bigger companies, Amazon and Apple specifically, and Tapas, since you're already established, that y'all will see this and be like, how are they going from 4 billion to 60 billion, and like jump in on this and try and grow the businesses. If Amazon and if Tapas starts doing yearly competitions or bi-yearly competitions, it will increase productivity on their sites. Oh, I just don't understand. What do y'all think? What do y'all think that Webtoons, do y'all think that there's room for these other companies? Let's be honest. Let's just be honest right here. Do we think that these other companies can compete? What would y'all say? Like, I'm very curious about that. So Jess said, yes, we need more competition. Webtoon having a monopoly is bad news for creators. It really is, because like I was saying with the contract thing, if you tell them no, then they can be like, okay, that's fine. I mean, where else are you going to go? And so it puts you in a bad position, because you don't want to threaten a company that you're working with. But when you don't have any other options, it's just like, well, logically, you can't do anything else. And they're like, well, I mean, you're right, but I'm hoping you would do right by me, because we're trying to be in business together. Because technically, you're entering into a partnership. And I'm not behind the closed doors of these things. Like, I don't know how much people make from their webtoons and whatnot. Like, some people probably make a lot more than other people. But my point is that at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you. And if the deal's not right, the deal's not right. So Magnetic Salt said, I think so. So this is in regards to my questions about if other companies can work in the webtoon space. It just depends on the marketing the other companies put into it, in my opinion. I think that's a great opinion. I really think like people underestimate the power of marketing. I think Tapas did a good job of fixing their site, and I hope that they do a strong campaign of marketing going forward to really help them like broaden their audience from what it is now. Just said, I think big companies need to get involved and grow the market in the US. We need platforms with stacks to get out here and build audiences. The way Webtoon was in 2019 advertising. So 100% agree. I think like from the creator side, like creators definitely would love like to have all of the bells and whistles, all of the ways to grow their stories on the platform and whatnot. But the companies also need to be bringing in people to the platform as well. So like, I think that definitely 100% go heavy into the marketing. Like, even if it's like figure out who your target demographic is, figure out what type of stories you want to like sell, and then like draw those people in, like shoot it to them over and over again. And that's where I'm kind of like, Webtoons wore me down in 2019. Like, I was not into that Webtoon life, and then like I just kept getting hit over and over again with these stories on YouTube, where it's like, check out this story, check out this story, check out the... And so I finally broke down and checked it out. So it's just one of those things where it's like, there are ways to grow platforms. And even if they grow slowly, you can do it. Don't give up. Don't give up, other companies. Listen, who knows? Maybe I'll open my own Webtoon publishing company, and I'll be the one to shake up the Webtoon business world. Like, could you imagine? Oh my good grief. That would be so much fun. Okay. Adagon said, Webtoon is definitely fierce, so it will be interesting to see how other companies start to compete seriously. I think 2019 was also when I got into Webtoons, 4 years ago. Yes, I feel like a lot of us got into Webtoons around then. Like, I didn't even know that they go as far back as 2004. That's crazy to me. Yes, Pantheon Tunes! I feel like I'd have to name it something else, but that would be really fun. Like, I would love to have like a little publishing house. I think that would be super cool. I don't know what sort of like brand I would go for though, or what sort of like stories I would be like, yes, we're a elite webtoon where we focus on like refined, high storytelling where characters are three-dimensional and multifaceted. Just said Webtoons advertisements were everywhere in 2019. 100% they were. Yes, Adagon, we are old, but I think we're getting wiser. Yes? Yes? Like, so much has changed since, like, first joining the Webtoon community. I love it! I love you guys. It's so much fun. And Adagon say, and they've grown this much since then. Yes, like, they've grown a lot. Like, I should probably, now I'm kind of interested. I think I want to look up what their revenue stream was before they like ventured out into this wild, wild west of being like this dominating force. Oh my good grief. I really wonder what they were making before this. Yes, we would be the Gucci of Webtoons. 100%. 10 out of 10 could not disagree. Pantheon, see, the funny thing about that is like I feel like Pantheon Tunes has such a good ring to it now because we already have Pantheon News, and so it's like we have Pantheon Talks, Pantheon News, and then Pantheon Tunes. So it's just kind of like, dang, that actually really fits. So anyway, we're winding down the stream, so I just want to say thank you for showing up. Did anybody have any questions on these 3 topics? So we talked about Comic-Con and the benefits. I definitely am really thinking that next year I'm going to start planning to go because I feel like that would be a really fun trip. And then we talked about the CEO of Webtoons and how he's like just wild. Like the man, like when... The man is a businessman. Like, he's got it together. And I'm all for it. Like, I mean, if nobody's going to stop him, it just is what it is. But I get it. If you want to keep growing your business, keep growing your business. Like, I can't blame the man for that. And then we talked about Tapas and its new update, which I'm totally here for Tapas, you know, creating their reader's experience to be better. We want more advertisements from Tapas, and we want them to improve in bringing in readers, as well as we just want Tapas to be like Webtoons. Like, I really feel like that's their competition, and I feel like they were on the same platform for a while, and then it just fell off. That's just my opinion. Tapas could be like, we're doing fine. Like, I think they're both publicly traded companies, so I should be able to look into Tapas revenue stream. Actually, I'm gonna do that, and maybe that'll be a T video in the future where we can talk about like the revenue streams and where we can like really figure out where Webtoons like hit it and Tapas just kind of like stayed where they were at. Also, don't forget Tapas has their writing competition that's coming up, so if you're interested in entering that, go ahead. If you have a story, something, just like sky's the limit, go ahead and enter it. Let's see. The years since then have been the most dramatic in my entire life. Oh, Adagon, I hope like dramatic in a decent way. We did go through a lot of stuff since 2019. Like just as like a global, as a species, like as humans, like we all went through a lot, I think. Jess said, we want Tapas to be Webtoon and Webtoon to be Tapas. That's 100% accurate. Like both of y'all, like all of the people on Webtoons go to Tapas and boost them, and then Tapas take your development team, go over there and like, you know, update Webtoons. Magnetic thought, well, the Tapas were brought out by Kako recently, so that might help. Somebody bought them. Ooh. Huh. I didn't come across that in any of my research. That definitely would have been a part of tonight's stream if I knew that. Like, I generally try and find, like, different articles, but I'll definitely have to look that up. I hope so. I don't recognize that company. So I'll have to do some research on them too, Magnetic Salt. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's really interesting. We might get that Webtoon tea sooner than I thought. Adagong said, fascinating how huge Webtoons have become. Now with different companies are all sorts of sizes, like huge monopolies to indie companies. Yeah, I definitely think that, an indie company can be successful. Not everybody has to be a global dominating force or anything. But I do think to balance things out, we do need like a few players that are playing in the same sandpit, in the same arena as Webtoons, just to kind of balance things out. So like, I feel like if you don't want to work with Webtoons, that should not be your only option. Like, you should be able to figure something else out, and it won't affect your revenue stream. Adagon saying, dramatic as in a hurl of mixed extreme emotions. Well, it's been rough for a lot of us. And for me personally, I've been going through a lot, but I'm finally feel like I'm starting to heal, and I'm just grateful to have all of you guys here, because I feel like streaming and getting a chance to talk to you guys and just ramble about Webtoons like I used to, I've really missed it, and I feel like it's been kind of healing for me. So we're here for you, Atagong. Like, everybody give some hearts to Atagong in the chat. I hope that the streams give you like a moment to break away from your problems. But we are here for you, bestie. We're here for you. Atagong also said the companies of Webtoon have become sort of akin to film and publishing companies now, with mainstream and indie companies. Yeah, Webtoons is just trying to expand, and I feel like as a creator, I would love the option of being able to make my series live action or anime. Like, I feel like that would be like a dream of mine. I can think of like 7-year-old me sitting there being like, oh my god, grief, you wrote a book? I didn't think it was possible. And I could see like 10-year-old me being like, oh, I have an anime and it's around the world, or I have a movie and like people are it's on Netflix. Like, I could see like me being so excited about those things. So like, I feel like that's awesome. Like, I kind of feel like Webtoons has kind of opened the door for a lot of people to make like their dreams come true, and has really inspired a lot of people. And I'm talking about Webtoons as the medium, not the company. But the company has helped too. I'm just saying, like, I really feel like it's given a lot to creatives, more than I think a lot of people realize. So if there are no more questions or anything, I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining. Our creator shout out goes to the Yellow Turnip. They are an OG that has been super supportive of us for a really long time. And so they actually have a series. It is a short story. It's called Rigged Game. It is an action series, and it would mean so much to me if you would like leave them a heart, or like comment on there and like tell them, you know, like keep up the good work, or, you know, something encouraging to really boost them. They're currently working on another series right now. I don't know if it's like a continuation of Rigged Game, or if it's like something that's just in the same universe. But basically the short story summary is, if you had a choice to save your family or the world, what would you choose? Who would you let down? Would you be the hero or the villain? But a more important question to ask would be, is there even a choice such as that? Those are the questions our protagonist will tackle as he fights in a rigged game. So super exciting. Check it out. Definitely follow them on social media. I love their avatar. Like, I love a cute avatar. Now that I have my own avatar, I'm so into avatars. I'm just like, adorable. So thank you guys so much for joining. And so hopefully I will see you guys for another stream in 2 weeks. I just have to find what it's going to be about. Otherwise I would have announced it tonight. So if you come across any tea or drama or something that we can discuss, definitely send it to me on socials. Please give this video a like, comment down below if you enjoyed the stream, and then share it with friends and whatnot. It really helps us. It really helps to boost it, especially after it's been posted and whatnot. And definitely subscribe if you're a new viewer. So a huge thank you and shout out to our patrons, and we will catch you on our next live stream. Thank you, everybody. All right, I'm out.